Hello and welcome to Brilliance Today, where individuals let their brilliance shine through their stories, expertise and philosophy, because they're on a mission to make a difference and leave a legacy. Introducing Brenda Dempsey, publisher, speaker and TV presenter. Get ready to be inspired.
Hello and welcome to Brilliance Today. This is the podcast series, and this particular series is called Voices of Women. And did you know that behind every great woman is another great woman? And I have a great woman behind me today, and her name is Dr. Christi Campbell. Hi, Christi.
Hello, Brenda. It's so nice to be with you today.
Oh, thanks very much for showing up. It's wonderful. I have such privilege to interview such amazing women. And in particular, do you know what? We're all friends, we're all connected, and it just feels like we're having a girly chat. And that's what we're going to do today. But we've got a bit of a focus on being a voice of women. But before we get into that, we really need to get down and find out a bit more about who you are, what you do, and what drives you. So over to you.
Yeah, okay, gosh, that can be a really big question. But I often looked at myself as just this little girl that grew up in Nebraska, right? And as my journey has progressed and opened and been so delightful as I've learned and grown, and everybody can do, but as I've understood what life is really all about and what my path is supposed to be, it's just grown exponentially. And even meeting you, Brenda, I mean, that was such a universe driven thing. It was just time for us to our paths to cross, time for us to work together to really get this message out to the world. So that's the only way you can look at that, right? But I've spent 48 years in the medical profession. I've done internal medicine and geriatrics. I've just stepped out of that last fall and now just do some other things. But my focus and my passion is now totally working on the kind of the person, the real person, within the vessel that we are, the soul, the spirit, the energy, looking at that and how I can heal that, how I can help people be awakened, to their own journey, how to connect with their own soul. I mean, that really drives everything that happens to us physically anyway. So, I'm eternally grateful for, the path I had to get to where I am now. So I am just fully embracing working with people at that intimate soul level to discover all those things about themselves and to have the world open to them and see what, miraculous, mystical things can happen.
It's music to my soul, never mind the ears. And the funny thing is, years ago, it was all like you go on this personal development journey, and there's all these things that you do, try to become a better person and create these habits and, try and find the best version of yourself and traits. But actually, for me, the awakening is when sometimes you don't know how it happens, but sometimes you find yourself on the most fantastic adventure in the world. And that's the inner journey. And when we open up to that inner journey, boy, does your life change. You become transformed in a way that you don't recognize yourself, but in a way that awakens who you truly are. Can you tell us a bit about your awakening on your inner journey?
Wow. The very beginning of it, I can look back and see the little seed that started kind of the whole process for me, because I was just living, here I was on the earth, living, having a family, working, doing things, and not even having any kind of a realization that I had a job to do, that I was put here for some reason, that I had a path, a passion, a duty, a responsibility to humanity. And that kind of harkens back to back in the 90s, actually, going to an outdoor art festival. I could have walked right past this booth, but I was drawn to it. And the short story is, met some beautiful artistic souls who really connected with me. And honestly, the first word I ever learned that was that little spark along the journey, it seems so simple now, but it was the word synchronicity.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
never heard that word before. And when I heard what it was, I mean, literally heard what it was and it started happening, or I just started seeing it happen. And then things just continued to progress. And I think once you recognize and once you're willing to really see and have those aha moments, it just begins to, it's that little crack that starts to open everything up to you. And if you're ready for it and you want it, it's just right there. It's right there for everybody, So that's how it all started. And then as things progressed, working with those groups, literally, actually, Brenda, I don't tell this to very many people, but when I started my PhD work, I had a very, very clear message from the universe that says, you are here for something much greater than your PhD. That was like a
Wow.
voice that came to me. That's powerful. I don't, now I've shared it with the whole world,
It's
but
sharing it now.
exactly. But it was so powerful. And I'll always, it's one of those anchors that I reach back to. And I now come to understand what that means. I wasn't there to do a PhD to further me along in my medical career. I was drawn to it for other reasons. And now I know what those reasons are, more about credibility and more of the explorations that I've done, along the life path. So I've also worked with the fabulous, what I call a soul coach who allows me that time. And I allow myself the time to really just sit and go inward and hear the messages and understand and and let myself out. That's a way to say it. But allow myself.
And a whole new meaning, sorry, Christy, for interruption, but a whole new meaning to coming out.
I know, exactly. And one of the most recent visions I had came to me, the line that came to me is, you can't hide anymore. Okay.
Wow.
And that's the case. I don't want to hide anymore. And that really kind of revolves around, religious upbringing and all the new things I'm doing. I'm putting myself right out there on the world stage, as
Brilliant.
working on another new book. And I am so thrilled to be involved with these other 22 magnificent women from around the world. I can't wait to meet them. I mean,
Oh,
we've got to support each other. We have to uplift each other. So I'm so excited about that. I
yeah.
was rambling on. I don't know if I even answered your question.
You know what? We had a laugh, so it was the right thing to do. We were letting that out. So it's great. We can't take ourselves too seriously. And, where I come from in Scotland, the West Coast, Glasgow is the nearest city where I was born and bred. And that's one thing about Scots at that part of the world. I'm not saying all Scots because it's not true, but people from the West Coast of Scotland, Glasgow, Clydebank, where I was born, that area, we laugh at ourselves. We don't need, we call it take the mickey out of yourself. I don't know if that lands in America, but and so therefore it means when other people try to do things to you, it doesn't get to you because you look for the bright side, the bright side of life. You find the humor in moments, even the darkest of moments. There was a thing that went on YouTube not that long ago, a few months back, and it was someone was recording a family funeral. And see, this is the warped sense of humor of the Scots. And actually, someone that was speaking, they fell into the grave. You
Oh
know,
no.
yeah, that went viral because everybody it broke the absolute intensity. Everybody laughed. And it went viral because it was that kind of funny thing. So I think if you can laugh at yourself, it's great. But
I, I, I
I'm
was gonna say,
forgetting we're recording here. I'm enjoying this chat so much.
in kind of relation to that, I really feel like joy is one of the most powerful emotions in the world. And
It
if you
is.
can hold joy in your heart and in your soul, it sort of protects you from all that other. I mean, and granted,
That's
we are humans, we can't be perfect all the time. But when I start my day in a literal, walking down the stairs going, oh, thank you for whatever it is. Thank you for this house. Thank you for whatever today. I be filled with
gratitude.
joy. And when you start your day that way, it just makes everything go so much better. So I get that. Yeah.
You make me smile. My face hurts with smiling. You just naturally. I feel like that, like 6, 7 year old child that's going out with her friends. You know what I mean? Or her pal, as we say here. Not that I
Yeah.
live in Scotland now, you know. But gosh, see, I forgot what I was going to say again because I'm getting so carried away with this conversation. Oh my goodness, what were you saying there? Oh, I don't know where we're going with this conversation. I don't know, but we're two women here definitely having some fun, and we're sharing the voice because it's so important. But Voice of Women's about leadership. I'm sure whatever I was going to ask you a minute ago will come back. So let's talk about leadership. So when did you realize that you were a leader and you had a job to do?
You know, that's been something that has, I would have to say, been in development over the years. And I was just verbalizing this the other day to someone, that as I have just gone about and done the things that I've been led to do, called to do, met people, had interactions, I'm honestly really just kind of coming into that whole and or owning it, shall you will, that I'm a leader, that people are drawn to what I say, and they want to hear what I have to say. And the wisdom that I understand that flows, you know, through me and through my soul, that I'm here to share with other people. I see the response to that, even though I didn't ever set out to be here. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be in charge of all these things, and I'm going to be a leader in this, that, and the other. It's been this natural development. Um, and I began to really recognize the responsibility around that, for one thing,
Yeah.
you know, and even coming, you know, into your orbit and us joining our journeys together and sharing this chapter about kind of a little nugget of, you know, my life and how things unfolded. And it's so real, and everybody experiences this. We're all the same. That's one thing I want people to know. It's just where we are in our journeys and how we can help support each other in that. But that being said, it is kind of a recent thing. All these things that have happened in my life have led me to realize that, yeah, absolutely. I can't hide anything anymore. I got to get out there on the world stage. I got to share what I have learned. And that's what it's really all about, is just
Mm,
sharing. If we share
yeah.
what we know, what we love, what the universe gave us, then it's going to resonate with the right person. The right person is going to be there to hear what we have to say, and it's going to be able to help them. And I know that's what Voices of Women is about. They're going to
Yeah.
pick up that book. They're going to resonate with one of the other 22 or 21 women, or they're really going to resonate with me, or they're going to, and it's perfectly perfect, however that happens, because that's how it's supposed to.
Exactly. Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, perfectly imperfect, as they say. You know,
Yeah.
I do like an oxymoron. I'm a bit of a Shakespeare person, having taught English for 20 years, you know. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so you're right. It's you know, things just unfold, and you talked about synergy and synchronicity, and I think as we age and we become wise muses, or whatever word you want to use, um, we find ourselves in places with people that we never ever thought was
Yeah.
possible. I remember, um, oh, let's go back maybe 10 years, just as I was moving out of, just before I was moving out of, what do you call it, education. And I used to, when I was starting on this path that I'm now on, I used to sit and think, uh, how do you, how do you meet a millionaire? Right? I'm from a very working class background, let me
Me
tell
too.
you.
Me too.
So I used to sit and think, as I was developing, I'm going, well, how do you meet a millionaire? At that point, I wasn't like, well, how do you become a millionaire? We should have been a better. But no, I was interested in, how do you become a millionaire? Because I was interested to find out, how did you become a millionaire? Right? Because that would give the answer. And if they had an answer, I would apply it to myself and think, I can, because I'm the I can woman. And then I never thought much about it. And I just carried on doing a thing. I grew, like you're saying. I learned, I met people, I read, I watched, I discussed, I did all the things you do to learn. And then all of a sudden, I have a new circle of people. Don't even ask me how I got there. It's like I woke up one day and I had all this new circle of people that I was operating within. And then all of a sudden, I was like, people were talking and they're going, oh, yeah, I made my first million. And I thought, hey, wait a minute. I've got to thank Darren Hardy, by the way, you know, the compound effect. Do you know Darren Hardy? I've got
Yeah.
to think he transformed my life. You know, he really put me on a new path. And all of a sudden, I thought to myself, wait a minute, I'm now having like conversations the way I have conversations with the poor people. Do you know what I mean? Financially poor, that is. And I thought, how did I get here? And it's exactly what you're saying, you know. So that got me on the whole path of the law of attraction,
Yep. 100%.
abundance, and
Yep.
being around, you know, I think the great Stephen Covey and Jim Rohn. Notice they're all Americans. I know they're all Americans. I seem to know that I follow, and I thought, wait a minute. All of a sudden, I'm around them, and I'm now thinking, right, that's it. I'm now going to be a millionaire.
Well, you know, if I can, something's bringing up for me, it's exactly what you're talking about. And probably 2 years ago, maybe three, was the first time, you know, sitting on my sun porch talking to, you know, kind of my soul coach, if you will, allowing myself that space, you know, to be open to the messages of the universe. But I said to him, I said, you know, I've got this powerful work, or this powerful work is coming in, is coming through me. I know it needs to go out there, and I'm doing some of this locally. I said, but how in the world am I going to get this out? I live here, you know, in this place. How am I going to get it out into the city, the state, the United States, the world? I mean, how am I going to make that happen? I said, because I can see myself standing on the world stage, not for any accolades for myself, but to get the message out. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, that was 2 or 3 years ago. And within a year, I was connected to people all over the world based on things that were brought to me, studies I did,
Yeah.
and then of course be meeting you, etc. And so I held the power and the certainty that it would happen, and that's really important too.
I've
And
just
you
written a
know,
bit. Sorry to interrupt you, but just before this conversation, I'm writing an interview for a. In fact, it's Noah St. John. I don't know if you know him. You know the
yeah,
affirmations guy, and
okay.
and it's a big American project. Honest to God, I'm telling you, it's weird. And I'm just talking, and I was just literally writing the answers to my questions while I was waiting for you to turn up.
Uh-huh.
Here
Yeah.
you go. Exactly. Oh my goodness, my jaw's hurting with smiling.
Yeah, but this is so fantastic. And so I've just got to throw this out here too for whoever might be listening, because it's the power of the voices of women that I know is going to elevate, you know, people finding my work, which is the universe's work. But the other thing that I'm holding with absolute certainty too is a vision I got 18, 19 years ago now. That was to develop a healing sanctuary. And I know it's out there. I already know it's there. The why, absolutely, to have this intimate soul life transitional work with people. But then again, so we'll have another talk in not who knows how long, but I know it's already there. It's waiting for me. It's just in divine time that it's going to be revealed. And who knows, you know, all the connections I'm making, there's going to be some person that goes, oh, that is exactly what I've wanted to do with this property. Oh my gosh, here it is. And I'm open to it being
Exactly.
anywhere in the world. So
And I'm just sitting here thinking I can connect you to a number of people who did that. A lady in Portugal's one, another American lady who was a lawyer who talks about positive. Oh, I'm going to send your names after this. And she's
yeah.
like that. And she had this, um, she wanted to create this sanctuary. But I don't
Mhm.
think it wasn't around healing, it was to do with animals and different thing, but it was a sanctuary. And all of a sudden she went from, you know, she lived a nice, comfortable life. She's a lawyer. But all of a sudden she worked with an energy who was my coach, an energy coach, right? And all of a sudden she just exploded.
Yeah.
She exploded because she stepped into the energy. And
Yeah.
everything's energy, and that's what I know. And voices are energy. And when we speak, what you talked about joy. Now, I wanted to say to you, do you know the work of Dr. David Hawkins?
Yes.
You know, map of consciousness. So joy is 2 states away from enlightenment. So it's love, unconditional love, joy, peace, enlightenment. So when you start operating from that energetic level of love, unconditional love, into joy. I did a living book called Voices of Joy during the pandemic, where people just spoke. It was amazing. I actually need to do something more with that. So that's we set aside, didn't it? But anyway, the point is these when you step into energy, abundance, quantum, then you can collapse time and you can make anything and everything happen. Okay, you might not say, well, it'll happen in 2 days' time, but you put the intention out there and it arrives sooner than it thinks. And I'll let you speak. I've got another wee story I want to tell you about another American lady about abundance. So it's your turn to speak about abundance. When did you realize that you could tap into the abundance, everything that the universe has got for us?
I was actually going to say too, along that same vein, is don't what's the right word to say this? The universe is going to deliver it to you when you put it
Absolutely.
out there exactly. You know, you're crystal clear about what you're going to do and what that job is. It is going to deliver that to you. And so one sort of word to put out there is don't dismiss little nudges that come to you. Listen to those nudges. Don't dismiss opportunities out of hand that you think, oh, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. I mean, the universe is delivering you things, to do. So kind of don't look a gift
Horse in the mouth.
but the gift universe. I mean, so just kind of put that out there because I have kind of seen that happen with myself. And it's like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. But it's like, well, here's the universe giving you opportunities, to grow. And I'd have to say, probably the greatest understanding of how that's working, that was like undeniable, is how I went from no real big outwardly connections 2 years ago to having worldwide connections. And I mean, very powerful ones, deep connections with women around the world in multiple countries,
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
I just look at that kind of like, wow, look how that
Yeah,
happened
I know.
effortlessly.
I know.
So the financial abundance as well. Some people get really hung up on that. And it's something that I just tried to just let go of and know that when you're in that flow and you have complete confidence that you're doing the work that you're supposed to do, it's going to come support you. So,
Absolutely. It's good
yeah.
because you can't do the work, they can't do the enormity of the work that we've been given without, the financial. We live in a world where
Yes.
money talks, doesn't it? Money
True.
talks. So
Yeah.
as I say to a lot of the women that I work with, I will tell them, look, you have to charge your value and your worth for your work. And there are people who will pay and they'll pay double it, 3 times it, 4 times it, 5 times it, 10 times it, you
Yeah.
know? And until you get that belief and you work on that part of you, then you're just going to keep yourself inside. But here's the thing, because a lot of folk might think, oh, maybe folk will think I'm greedy or I'm just a money grabber or all these like limiting beliefs, right? It's part of maybe how you were brought up in different things. Money doesn't grow on tree. But
Yeah,
actually,
exactly. You got to work hard for it, it's
oh
like,
yeah, hard, all
yeah,
these things. But
yeah.
the thing is, you've got to cut those beliefs, you've got to cut those cords. Because here's the thing, I want to build schools in Africa. If I don't get money, how am I going to build a school in Africa? So therefore, if I keep doing what I'm doing and more money comes to me, I'm going to be able to go and build a whole school myself.
Exactly.
I don't need to keep going pleading to do that. Also, if I've got a message worldwide, yes, you can do it via Zoom, but you can't being in the room. You can't beat and being human and being with other people. So therefore, if I want to come to America, India, Africa, Dubai, I need to get an airline ticket, a hotel, I need to pay. Well, that's not $200,
Yeah, that's exactly
right?
right. Yeah.
Right? So therefore, I need to be sharing my gifts, making an impact in the world, influencing others who are going to pay me to allow me to do my humanitarian and philanthropic work, that allow me to get on that plane. And I'm not even saying to allow me to go first class, that's another level again. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so therefore you have to switch that money mindset, switch up the thermostat,
Yep.
look at finance through different lenses, because the ones that you've been looking for the last 40 years or whatever are not working, So, but going back to the law of attraction, I remember again when I'm on this new journey, it was just before I was giving up teaching, and it was a whole new world. And it happened because of Facebook when I finally got in. So it must be about the year 2000. But there was a woman, she was another American, and she came on, can't even remember her name now, but she came on every day talking about abundance and how the universe was working for her. And she says, oh, somebody gave me a bunch of flowers today. So, oh, I got my hair done for free. Oh, I did, the universe was, and all this thing. And then all of a sudden, she found herself going from being just like unconscious, shall we say, to consciousness. So she was the first woman who really opened up my mind to like, oh, I didn't know you could be abundant on a financial or in that way. I've always felt abundant in love and energy, but I didn't know what to do with it, but now I do.
And yeah, I want to add one quick thing into this that's been kind of appear in my head. I recently had someone, because I think so many people that are in the healing, arena, if you will, struggle with letting people pay them and things. I mean, I just heard that a lot. And myself included. I've had to do that whole switch the mindset and go through all that work myself. So it just didn't come to me like, snowflakes in the night. But what I wanted to say was, one of the most recent things that someone said to me is, it is an energy exchange. And that's not what they said, but it is an energy exchange. You're doing the work and money's the energy that's coming back to you. The thing she said to me is, let them thank you. They are thanking you when they pay you. Are you going to tell them they can't thank you? And so when I looked at it that way, that they are saying, thank you for that. And that's how they're doing it. That flipped the switch for me, allowing.
You've got to find your switch. The switch is different for everybody, but you will find something, and sometimes you don't pay attention to it. And then it's later on, you think, oh, wait a minute, but you've got to find it. But you're right, you've got to have an open mind and be open to it. And I love that. Look out for the little nudges and things like that, So it's so important. Let's get down to voices of women, because I think we could probably talk for 2 hours.
We could.
And we don't even have a drink yet.
Exactly. So yeah,
we're giggling like schoolgirls here. Anyway, voices of women. So it's about leadership, and we've touched on that. So what made you say yes to being a voice of women and being a founding member of this movement, Voices of Women? Vow.
Oh, it was easy. I mean, there wasn't even a consideration about it. The connection was undeniable. As a matter of fact, one of the other Voices of Women, wonderful authors that's in this book, is the one I connected with at a conference in Austin. And now you know where I'm from. That connected with her at this conference. And anyway, it was on the Sunday morning. There was still more that day to the conference, but I had a family emergency and I was going to need to leave. So I went down to the conference hall and I was tying up some loose ends. And without telling the entire story, 5 things happened in that hour I was tying up things that have been pivotal in my life. The conference was already going. The people were inside. One guy who came out of there and came over to me while I was taking care of some paperwork, and he taps me on the shoulder and he says, "Are you the Crystal Oracle?" And I turned around and looked at him. I said, well, I'll take that because I do work with crystals that it's
Yeah.
greatly involved in my work. And so
Yeah.
that I've been told I need to connect with you. That wouldn't have happened if I wasn't there. And anyway, happened the other, but one of those was the other gal that happened to be at my working table during the conference said, I have got to hook you up with Brenda, got to hook you up. You've got to talk with her. I think this is going to be real powerful here. So she just writes it down. She connects us by email. And then, of course, you know the rest of the story. We
Yeah.
talked for the first time like we were old souls, which I'm sure we are. So
Yeah.
we just connected right away. And it was a total no-brainer about writing it. And writing it was very easy. It just sort of rolled out and there it is. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for people to
Yeah,
read it.
we've got a lot that's going on, you know. So in terms of what does the word voice mean for you?
Giving, how can I say? I gosh, that's not ever been asked, but what I want to say about that is giving shape and energy to what we are called to do here on earth and letting that voice in human form be put out there in the universe will attract those that need to hear it. And for me, this being a voice in Voices of Women is being part of that energy collective.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that just came to me, but it's like being part of that energy collective that's going to be very powerful. And I got goosebumps when I say that, you know, that's always like a positive affirmation. But that energy collective is going out into the universe. So yeah, that's my answer to that one.
So just before we round up, you can see this has been a wild conversation. No shape, no form, but that's what I love. I love to be free. We're free spirits. So what would you say to young women who maybe doubt that they've got the qualities for leadership and they don't know how to take that first step? What advice would you give them?
Wow. Look inward. Really understand yourself and be confident in yourself. Do that work. And I mean, I feel like when you have that confidence and that stability and that connection to your soul, that's where the wisdom is. And everybody has that. I mean, all you have to do is tap into it. It's right there. I just sort of, when you put that picture out and I'm thinking of a soul and a young woman and leadership and all that, it's like, you can't negate yourself. You have to take care of this first. You don't want to just like, oh, I want to be up there. Well, you'll get up there if you start here.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. You know, and I think, and the thing is, you get there sooner than you think.
Absolutely, you do.
You know,
I
there
mean,
you go. You told us your journey in 2 years, you know. And the thing with Voices of Women, it's going to be in 200 countries, 40,000 outlets. Now, here is why we've connected, because a book is one of the best vehicles for getting your story out there when it's worldwide. And for me, I didn't set out to be an author. I didn't set out to be a publisher. No way in this earth. I'm a teacher, but I know through the work that I do, I am teaching, and I am teaching at a higher level with a wider reach. So that's why I said yes to being a publisher, because I knew I could connect to people worldwide, and I could make a significant difference. And what's more, that philosophy that I've garnered over the years through my experiences, my failures, my lessons, that's the legacy I'm leaving behind in the written form as an imprint, given the impression I've made in the world. And that's what we all have. We all have that opportunity. And for me, that's why I do what I do today. So why do you do what you do? I don't know. I thought we were supposed to be closing, but we're not getting there. Let's just finish on you saying why you do what you do.
Because I have a heart of love and generosity that I know I am to share with the world, because there's so much angst in the world. We progress forward when we embrace, when we love, when we do that with gentleness, with strength, but with gentleness, when we accept, when we don't shun. I don't know that I'm really answering what you asked me, but I do know that
It sounds
that
wonderful to me.
yeah, right now I feel like the universe is throwing me through, the just warp speed, with what I need to get out there. But I know that I'm so excited about that. It makes me so happy. It makes me so excited because I just can't wait to share what I know people need to hear, and that is all wrapped around
Mm.
love, joy, gratitude, gentleness. And that might sound simplistic, but it so is not. When
No,
someone is in a safe container with those beautiful energies, you grow,
yeah, absolutely.
you
Oh,
heal.
Christy, oh, exactly. Christy, the Crystal Lady. Oh, oops, typical. Just as we're finishing. Anyway, this is real. I'm raw and real. Christy is the Crystal Oracle. And this has been another amazing podcast, Voices of Women. Brilliance today, because it's only brilliance we want to shine and share with the world. Oh, don't say that
Absolutely.
if you've had a drink. I don't think it might not come out right. Anyway, till the next time, this is Brenda saying, be brilliant, much love, and to the pit.
That's it for this episode of Brilliance Today. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. For more information or to contact Book Brilliance Publishing, visit bookbrilliancepublishing.com. And remember, do different. Be brilliant.